We are living in the most overstimulated, overcomforted, overindulged time in human history, and yet so many of us feel tired, weak, distracted, and unfulfilled. We wake up every day surrounded by technology, convenience, and instant pleasure, and our brains have quietly become addicted to easy rewards. But the human body and the human mind were never designed for comfort alone. They were designed for effort, for movement, for challenge, for growth. After the age of 50, something powerful happens. The world tells you to slow down, to accept decline, to believe that strength is only for the young. And that is a lie, a dangerous lie. Your muscles, your bones, your nervous system, and your brain are still waiting for a signal. They are waiting for you to say, I am not done yet. Every time you move your body with intention, every time you challenge your limits, you send a message to your brain that says, I choose strength over weakness, discipline over comfort, life over decline. Real health after 50 is not about chasing perfection. It is about refusing to surrender to age. It is about small, consistent actions that rebuild confidence, balance, and power from the inside out. Too many people believe that squats are the only path to strong legs and strong glutes. But science shows us something deeper. The body responds best to smart movement, targeted exercises, and mindful effort. You don't need to punish your knees or exhaust yourself to get stronger. You need intelligent habits. You need exercises that protect your joints, activate your muscles, and wake up the parts of your body that have been sleeping for years. Strength is not a luxury for the young. It is medicine for the aging. And here is the emotional truth. When you take care of your body, you are not just building muscle. You are rebuilding dignity. You are rebuilding independence. You are telling your future self, I will not become fragile. I will not become helpless. I will not fade away quietly. Movement changes your dopamine system. It improves your mood, sharpens your focus, and gives you energy that no pill, no supplement, and no shortcut can ever provide. Every repetition, every small effort, every day you choose to move is an act of courage. It is proof that you still believe in yourself. So don't let age define you. Don't let comfort trap you. Don't let fear convince you that it is too late. The body can change. The brain can change. Your future can change. And it starts with a simple decision to stand up, move forward, and take your power back today. Your body changes when your brain decides to change. That is not a motivational slogan. It is a scientific reality. Every physical transformation begins in the mind long before it appears in the muscles. After 50, many people quietly accept a story that they are supposed to slow down, become weaker, move less, and expect less from themselves. That story feels comfortable, but it is deeply dangerous. The brain is incredibly powerful, and it believes whatever narrative you repeat to it. If you tell yourself that aging equals decline, your nervous system will obey that command. If you tell yourself that growth is still possible, your brain and body will rise to meet that expectation. Movement is not simply something we do to look better. Movement is a biological signal. When you challenge your muscles, when you stand up, walk, stretch, and strengthen your body, you are sending chemical messages through your entire system. Those messages tell your brain, I am still alive, I am still capable, I am still worth investing in. The human brain is plastic at every age. It adapts to the demands placed on it. If the demand is comfort and inactivity, the brain adapts to weakness. If the demand is effort and motion, the brain adapts to strength. Many people wait for motivation before they begin. They believe they need to feel ready, inspired, or energetic before they take action. But neuroscience shows us the opposite is true. Action creates motivation. The simple decision to move, even when you don't feel like it, changes your dopamine pathways. It lifts mood, sharpens focus, and builds a sense of control. The moment you decide to take responsibility for your body, you shift from being a passive victim of age to an active participant in your own life. After 50, the stakes are even higher. Strength is directly connected to independence. Balance is directly connected to safety. Muscle mass is directly connected to longevity. When you choose to exercise, you are not chasing vanity. You are protecting your future self. You are investing in the version of you that wants to walk freely, stand confidently, and live without fear of becoming fragile. That investment begins with a mental commitment. The brain is constantly looking for easy pleasure and immediate comfort. That is its natural tendency. But growth requires something different. It requires intentional discomfort. It requires the courage to say, I will not let convenience steal my health. Every time you overcome the urge to sit and instead choose to move, you strengthen not only your body, but your character. You prove to yourself that you are still capable of change. True transformation does not come from dramatic resolutions or extreme workouts. It comes from a simple, repeated decision made day after day. The decision to stand up, the decision to move, the decision to believe that you are not finished yet. When the brain finally accepts that new identity, the body follows. Muscles grow stronger, joints become more stable, energy returns, and confidence slowly rebuilds. So the most important exercise you will ever do is not physical. It is mental. It is the moment you stop negotiating with excuses and start choosing action. Once that switch flips in the brain, everything else becomes possible. That is where real change begins. Comfort is the enemy of vitality, and that is one of the hardest truths for modern human beings to accept. We live in a world that has been perfectly engineered to remove struggle from our lives. Chairs are softer, food is easier, entertainment is instant, and effort has become optional. On the surface, this feels like progress, but biologically, it is a quiet trap. The human body and brain were designed for movement, challenge, and resistance. When those elements disappear, something essential inside us begins to fade. After the age of 50, the temptation to choose comfort becomes even stronger. The body feels a little stiffer, energy levels are not what they used to be, and it becomes easy to believe that slowing down is natural and unavoidable. But comfort does not preserve energy, it drains it. The more we sit, avoid effort, and protect ourselves from discomfort, the weaker we become. Muscles shrink, balance declines, and confidence slowly erodes. What feels like protection is actually the beginning of decline. True vitality comes from the exact opposite direction. It comes from asking the body to do hard things. When you challenge your muscles, your heart, and your lungs, you wake up systems that have been quietly falling asleep. Effort sends a powerful message to your biology that says, I still need strength, I still need resilience, I still need to be prepared for life. The body responds to that message with more energy, better mood, and greater capability. Modern life constantly invites us to avoid discomfort. Elevators replace stairs, cars replace walking, screens replace real movement, and every one of those small choices pushes us a little further away from health. The brain quickly becomes addicted to ease. It starts to seek the path of least resistance in everything. But the path of least resistance leads to the weakest version of ourselves. Strength, both physical and mental, is built only when we are willing to do what is not easy. Discomfort is not punishment. It is information. A slightly tired muscle, a faster heartbeat, a challenge to your balance. These are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that something is working. When you feel resistance in your body, you are experiencing growth in real time. Too many people misinterpret that feeling and run back to comfort. But those who learn to tolerate small doses of discomfort are the ones who stay strong, independent, and alive in every sense of the word. Energy does not come from rest alone. It comes from movement. The paradox is that the more you avoid effort, the more tired you feel. And the more you move, the more energy you create. This is not just psychology, it is biology. Physical challenge increases blood flow to the brain, improves dopamine balance, and sharpens the nervous system. What begins as an uncomfortable choice slowly turns into a source of power. Choosing discomfort is ultimately choosing life. It is deciding that feeling strong matters more than feeling cozy. It is understanding that a few minutes of effort today can protect years of independence tomorrow. Comfort whispers that you should stay still. Vitality demands that you stand up and move, and every single day you get to decide which voice you will listen to. Small daily actions beat dramatic workouts, and this idea runs completely against the way most people think about fitness. We have been trained to believe that change only happens through big, intense, exhausting efforts. We imagine that getting stronger after 50 requires extreme programs, complicated routines, or heroic bursts of motivation, but the brain and body do not work that way. Real transformation is quiet, steady, and built on simple habits repeated over time. The nervous system responds far more powerfully to consistency than to intensity. When you do something occasionally, the brain treats it like an event. When you do something regularly, the brain treats it like a new identity. 4 intelligent exercises done a few times a week will reshape your strength, balance, and energy far more effectively than one overwhelming workout that leaves you sore, discouraged, and unwilling to continue. Progress is not created by exhaustion. Progress is created by repetition. After 50, this principle becomes even more important. The body recovers more slowly than it did in younger years, and extreme training can easily lead to injury, frustration, or burnout. But small, manageable movements done every day gently signal to your muscles and joints that they are still needed. Those signals accumulate. They add up like compound interest. What begins as a modest effort slowly turns into real, measurable strength. From a neuroscience perspective, habits are everything. Every time you repeat a simple, healthy action, you reinforce a pathway in the brain. The dopamine system learns to associate movement with reward, pride, and well-being. Over time, the behavior becomes easier, more automatic, and more natural. This is why people who rely on motivation alone almost always fail. Motivation comes and goes. Habits remain. Dramatic workouts often give the illusion of progress. They feel impressive in the moment, but they are rarely sustainable. Most people start with enthusiasm, push themselves too hard, and then stop completely. The brain interprets that pattern as instability. But when you commit to small daily actions, the brain receives a very different message. It learns that exercise is not a punishment or a special event. It is simply part of who you are. Consistency also protects confidence. When the goal is tiny and realistic, success becomes almost guaranteed. Each completed session, no matter how small, builds a sense of competence and control. That emotional reward is incredibly powerful. It creates a positive cycle where effort leads to success, and success encourages more effort. This is how long-term change actually happens. The most effective routines are not glamorous. They are practical, simple, and repeatable. A few focused glute exercises, a short walk, a gentle stretch, or a basic strength routine can transform the body if they are done faithfully. You do not need to shock your system. You need to nurture it consistently. Health after 50 is not about proving something to the world. It is about quietly taking care of yourself day after day. In the end, the people who become stronger are not the ones who do the most in a single day. They are the ones who show up the most often. Small actions create big results because they train the brain to believe in change. And once the brain believes, the body follows. That is the true power of consistency. Strong glutes mean a strong life, and that statement is far deeper than most people realize. The muscles in your hips and lower body are not just there for appearance or athletic performance. They are the foundation of almost every movement you make. Walking, standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, keeping your balance, protecting your knees and your back, all of it depends on the strength of those muscles. After 50, the condition of your glutes becomes one of the most important predictors of how independent, confident, and capable you will remain. Many people think of exercise only in terms of burning calories or looking better. But real functional strength is about something much more meaningful. It is about being able to live your daily life without fear. Weak glutes lead to poor posture, unstable hips, aching knees, and a fragile sense of balance. Strong glutes create stability, power, and resilience. They allow you to move through the world with confidence instead of caution. The human body works as a connected system. When the glute muscles are inactive or weak, other parts of the body are forced to compensate. The lower back begins to carry loads it was never meant to carry. The knees absorb pressure they were never designed to handle. Over time, this leads to pain, stiffness, and injury. Strengthening the glutes is not just about building muscle. It is about protecting the entire structure of your body. From a neurological perspective, strong glutes also improve the way the brain communicates with the body. Balance, coordination, and reaction time all depend on the signals traveling between your muscles and your nervous system. When you train these muscles, you sharpen those signals. You become steadier on your feet, quicker to recover from a stumble, and more secure in every movement. That sense of stability has a powerful emotional effect. It reduces fear and increases freedom. Independence in later life is built on physical capability. The ability to carry groceries, play with grandchildren, travel, or simply move through your day without assistance depends largely on lower body strength. People often worry about memory or disease as they age, but one of the greatest threats to quality of life is actually loss of mobility. Strong glutes are a direct defense against that loss. They keep you active, engaged, and self-sufficient. There is also a psychological dimension to this kind of strength. When you feel solid in your body, you feel more confident in the world. Posture improves, energy rises, and even mood becomes more stable. Movement creates dopamine and reduces anxiety. The simple act of standing tall on strong legs sends a message to your brain that says, I am capable, I am safe, I am still powerful. Training the glutes does not require extreme effort or punishing workouts. It requires smart, focused exercises that wake these muscles up and teach them to work properly again. Even small improvements in strength can make a dramatic difference in how you feel and function. Over time, those small improvements add up to a completely different quality of life. In the end, strong glutes are not about vanity. They are about dignity. They are about protecting your future self from falls, pain, and dependence. They are about maintaining the freedom to live on your own terms. When you invest in this part of your body, you are investing in years of better movement, better balance, and better living. That is why strong glutes truly mean a strong life. Aging is not a sentence, it is a call to action, and this may be the most important mindset shift anyone over 50 can make. Society quietly teaches us that getting older means stepping back, doing less, becoming smaller, and accepting gradual decline. We hear it in jokes, in advertisements, even in casual conversations. The message is repeated so often that many people begin to believe it without question. But biologically and psychologically, that belief is a choice, not a fact. Every decade of life brings change, but change does not have to mean loss. The human body is designed to adapt at any age. Muscles can grow stronger, balance can improve, energy can return. The brain remains capable of learning new habits and building new pathways. What determines the direction of aging is not the number on a calendar. It is the daily decisions you make about how you live. Most people treat aging as something that happens to them, like weather they cannot control. They wait for problems to appear and then react with fear or resignation. But healthy aging requires a different attitude. It requires seeing each year not as a step downward, but as an invitation to become more intentional, more disciplined, and more responsible for your own well-being. The body responds to the demands you place on it. If you demand nothing, it gives you nothing. If you demand strength and movement, it will slowly rise to meet you. Every time you choose movement over rest, discipline over excuses, you are casting a vote for the kind of future you want. Those small choices accumulate. They determine whether the next 10 or 20 years will be lived with confidence or with limitation. The idea that it is too late to improve is one of the most damaging myths in modern culture. It is never too late to get a little stronger, a little steadier, a little more capable than you were yesterday. Taking action after 50 is not about proving anything to other people. It is about protecting your independence and your dignity. It is about making sure that you can continue to care for yourself, enjoy your family, travel, play, and participate fully in life. When you exercise, stretch, and strengthen your body, you are not just working on muscles, you are building a future in which you remain free rather than fragile. There is also a deep emotional power in refusing to surrender to age. Choosing to move, even when it feels difficult, reminds you that you are still in control of your story. It reduces anxiety and helplessness. It creates a sense of purpose. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you begin doing something positive for your health, you step out of the role of victim and into the role of creator. The brain rewards this attitude. Movement and effort improve mood, sharpen thinking, and increase dopamine in healthy, natural ways. Instead of relying on passive pleasures and distractions, you begin to experience the genuine satisfaction that comes from taking care of yourself. That satisfaction becomes its own motivation, pushing you forward year after year. Growing older is inevitable. Becoming weak and limited is not. The difference lies in whether you answer the call to action or ignore it. Each day offers a new opportunity to choose strength, to choose movement, and to choose life. When you make that choice consistently, aging stops being something to fear and becomes something to master.